Swamp Thing premiered on the DC Universe streaming service just about a year ago as of the filming of this video. It was May 31st of 2019. Then just a few days later it was announced that the series was cancelled. What was planned as 13 episodes and 3 seasons, the second of which was promised as weird and which would come with spin-offs like Justice League Dark, was now dead in the water. Or, more appropriately, dead in the swamp water. It was then just 10 episodes, one and done, story incomplete, but yet story over. Or so we thought. Let's talk about it. Before we do that, let me say thank you for watching the channel, whether it's your first time here or you're back for more. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the content I upload just like this every few days. Let's jump into the story here. In a May 2020 press release, the CW television network announced that Swamp Thing would be a part of its new lineup, set to debut on the network in Q4 of 2020. Today, to shed light on that, we turn to industry insider Mr. Mikey Sutton, on his birthday of all days. Happy birthday to you. I'm going to read you his communique verbatim, and then, as we do when we receive exclusives and talk about scoops and rumors, we'll break it down together. And as always, I do look forward to continuing the conversation with you down in the comments, so feel free to leave a message with your thoughts on this news. And here it is. Quote, "Welcome to the Mikey Sutton Birthday Scoop Jam. The Cosmic Wonder, alongside several YouTube channels such as Pete's Basement, Lords of the Longbox, 3 Buck Theater, Superhero Buzz, and others, have been chosen to drop exclusive scoops from Sutton as his way of providing gifts to the community for all the kindness he's received in the past year. From LA to Seattle, New York to the Netherlands, Kentucky to Costa Rica, this whole day will be pouring down scoops." The following is a JLS Comics exclusive. The saga of the Swamp Thing has been a sad one. His co-creators, writers Len Wein and artist Bernie Wrightson passed away. His first director, Wes Craven, who helmed his silver screen debut, is gone, and so is Dick Durek, the man who initially played him. To make matters worse, Swamp Thing's TV series from parent company DC Universe was yanked from the streamer after a single season. But there is a light, and it never goes out. The CW has picked up the show's only season to re-air it on the network. What may seem to simply be a way to have fresh programming after the C-Virus shut down productions is actually more than that. The CW is interested in the series. Supernatural ended after a whopping 15 seasons on the CW, and they're curious to see if Swamp Thing can garner even close to that program's large and loyal cult following among horror fans. Swamp Thing wasn't a bust. It was critically acclaimed and loved by fans. Its shocking cancellation was for budgetary reasons, for the most part. The CW sees potential in the show crossing over into their DC Pocket universe launched by the late Arrow, and one that already includes John Constantine, who debuted in the Muck-Encrusted Creatures comic book in the late 1980s. Of course, in order for that to happen, the series would have to fall under the wing of super producer Greg Berlanti and be retooled. However, there's no chance of that happening if Swamp Thing doesn't perform well. Thankfully, the CW grades on a curve. What's small potatoes for ABC, NBC, and CBS are a feast for the CW. If Swamp Thing can get close to the ratings for The Flash, for example, which is pale compared to the big three, it'll be hard for the CW to let it die. It may be only a matter of time for Swamp Thing to be adopted into this new home, like when Supergirl flew from CBS to the CW. You're flying the swamp, Mikey Sutton. End quote. This is indeed exciting news for fans of the show and for fans of Swamp Thing in general. To unpack this, we have to look at it from multiple perspectives, those being the DC Universe, CW, HBO Max, and from our perspective, that of the fans. First off, to be clear, CW is a 50-50 split joint venture between Viacom, CBS, and AT&T. AT&T owns Warner Media, who in turn owns DC Comics, DC Universe, HBO, and HBO Max. So what we're talking about ultimately is moving parts underneath the same umbrella. However, they have their own unique budgets and operations and verticals. But knowing that makes it easier to understand how properties can move between these platforms and brands. And this is exactly how Supergirl was able to go from season 1 on CBS to season 2 on the CW. In early May 2020, news broke that the CW acquired the broadcast rights to Swamp Thing. This is a win-win situation for both the CW and for DC Universe, both of whom are at a critical transition point and facing strong headwinds where they're shut down and massively delayed on production, and with the landscape of their IP slate evolving, they're starving for content. DC Universe started off with Doom Patrol, Titans, Swamp Thing, and the R-rated Harley Quinn show. The plan originally was to build all these up and out and add more as time went on. Then HBO Max was rolled out, and as one Warner Digital Labs employee stated to Business Insider, everything is about HBO Max now. Where the focus was at one time on DC Universe, strategy pivoted to HBO Max, and along with that came much bigger budgets. So instead of on DC Universe shows like DMZ, Green Lantern, Justice League Dark, Strange Adventures, Aquaman King of Atlantis, and now the Snyder Cut of Justice League will land on HBO Max. Titans got a second season, but to be fair, this was before the big HBO Max push, a push that quite frankly Warner needs to work to compete in the OTT space with Netflix and Disney+. Doom Patrol did well enough to get a second season, although to give it an additional boost, it's going to be streamed on DC Universe and HBO Max. The first season of the R-rated Harley Quinn show is now available on the Sci-Fi Channel, with the second season only on DC Universe. The new episodes of Jeff Johns' DC Universe show Stargirl will air on the CW a day after they initially debut on DC Universe. And this is all part of a shared platform experiment as Warner figures out what to do with DC Universe in the shadow of HBO Max. And this is all coming at the same time, mind you, that the CW is entering what the CW CEO Mark Pedowitz calls Arrowverse 2.0. Which is a mix of ongoing shows blended with new shows. With long-running series like Supernatural currently looking at the end of its 15th and final season, with Arrow now done and Batwoman needing to be recast after Ruby Rose walked away, coupled with, of course, pandemic production delays, the CW is taking a strong look at their strategy. Superman and Lois with Tyler Hoechlin is now greenlit, and the network is still looking at the Green Arrow and the Canary spin-off show. That said, CW is in need of content that they can show which won't require production lead-in time, something that they can quickly add in later quarters of the year. Enter an already filmed, already done, entire season that fits in with the current slate of content. Enter Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing was planned for 3 seasons at DC Universe before being prematurely down from 13 to 10 episodes and then shut down in the first week of going live due to creative differences. Creative, which was restricted by budget. Gary Dauberman, James Wan, and the team spent tons of money on set pieces, CGI, and effects to make it look so good. Then, most likely impacted by the negative production news, it didn't get enough subscribers to stream each episode within the Live Plus windows, marking its final death knell. Despite that, those who have seen it love it. If you question the budget info, look no farther than Sandman. Budget is the very reason why Sandman is greenlit at Netflix, a company not afraid of larger production costs. AT&T is not going to dump a ton of time, resources, and money into a platform whose future is uncertain, so they turn to their partners and to this experimental shared strategy as a stopgap between now and HBO Max being fully ramped up. Swamp Thing goes to CW instead of HBO Max because, among other things, HBO Max is working on Justice League Dark already, which likely will have its own version of Swamp Thing. So this segmented approach allows both to thrive and not have one be narratively reliant upon the other. On the CW, the shot and done 10-episode first season of Swamp Thing is, as Pedowitz commented during a press call, at the moment, just 1 season. At the moment. Those words are very important and very carefully chosen verbiage. They're open to more and will look at KPIs, key performance indicators, and engagement for a path forward. Swamp Thing will be separate from the rest of CW's Arrowverse, at least initially, because it's already been filmed, of course. But keep in mind, we did get a brief glimpse of Earth-19 Swamp Thing in CW's last line-wide event, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and so technically, all the DC shows are now part of the multiverse. But a more direct crossover would likely to be a la Black Lightning and happen in a 3rd season, and that season's line-wide event. So as I said, this is all part of the experiment that Jeff Johns noted. So what will make this experiment a success? How will CW determine if their partnership is still working? And what are the metrics that they're going to be looking at to go forward with Mikey's scoop news? For that, we turn to CW Chief Brand Officer Rick Haskins. Rick said the network uses social media to create a unified ecosystem, something that would easily be fragmented between cable, streaming, and other outlets in today's TV reality. And like Mikey said in the quote, they grade on a curve boosted by increasing the value of certain metrics that other networks may not, a reason perhaps that Supergirl went on for so long after flying over from CBS. And here's something that CW's Pedowitz said recently, and this part is important. Ratings don't necessarily need to be the highest if there is buzz about the show, because you know that there is engagement. This means that a show like Swamp Thing, as part of this experiment, just like Stargirl is an adjacent part of the Arrowverse 2.0, will be watched very closely. CW looks at traditional metrics, of course, like how many online subscribers stream a show in a segmented amount of time, but they're looking at engagement, social media engagement. Who's talking about it and sharing it, and really who's making advertisers happy. So Mikey's scoop is an amazing one, albeit a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you like season 1 of Swamp Thing, if you want to see more, you have to hit social media, tag the CW network, and let them know. Make videos, make posts about it. They may not respond, but they're actively looking at this and recording your engagement. If there's enough of it, they'll move forward with another season. If some of the ratings are lower but engagement is high, Swamp Thing could be renewed, and Pedowitz could very likely greenlight that second season, which is exactly what Mikey says in our exclusive scoop. For now, that's a wrap on this story, my friends. Thank you for listening to this exclusive JLS Comics scoop courtesy of industry insider Mikey Sutton. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be one of the first to know when I upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.